Today is our news show day. I thought I would start things off with a softball, John. This is
No good.
not directly developer related, but I thought it was an interesting thing because I didn't know about it. I try to learn a little bit about different cultures. I did not know about this one. So in South Korea, were you aware that they start counting or did start counting your age at one? So they were like a one based age calculation rather than a zero
Index one.
based.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard this story is like the whole, some languages are zero based arrays, some languages are one based digit arrays. So this immediately popped into my head as a developer problem. So when you're born in South Korea, you're immediately one. Like in the States here, we start at zero. And I think that's fairly common, I would imagine. I don't know. Any experience with you, John? Like, is there anything you've seen like this before?
Uh, yeah, I think. Question mark. So
So I'm curious if this does actually become a software development problem. So is how are systems written to handle stuff like this? I wonder. Like, are they calculating age on the fly? Did some idiot hard code something somewhere where it shouldn't have been? You think this is kind of turning the screws on some folks?
I think well, I don't think they turn the screws on anyone. I think they just cause a little bit to complicate things. Obviously, some interesting things. The first thing I thought about when I read this article was not the problem of counting. I think most people will accept, generally speaking, someone's date of birth. So
Hmm.
thank goodness we have the Gregorian calendar for this, because it'd be a nightmare trying to calculate everyone's age. So I think date of birth is widely accepted as the starting point. And then I don't know if it matters too much what your age is that greatly. Most of the benefits that you get from a local country is obviously through your citizenship, etc. So, for example, pension benefits, etc., start at, 60, 65, whatever. Um, what's interesting about this is that the thing that I thought about more than anything is the demographic sort of change that's going on in countries like South Korea. So
Hmm.
South Korea actually has the lowest birth rate in the world. I think
Oh
it's
wow.
China now. Not many people know this. China is actually demographics is very very inverted. So they just corrected their numbers around their birth rates for um, children, I think less than 15 years old, and they overestimated, and they have a bit of a demographic collapse going on right now. Same thing in South Korea. The birth rate is incredibly low. In China, it's like zero point 0.8 or something like that, which is less than the replacement value. So,
Hmm.
yeah, birthdays are one thing. Demographics are another. I think there's a lot of change going on that some folks may not be aware of. So, this will cause problems for other things related to this. So
Yeah, I'm sure there's somebody fixing code somewhere though related to this happening.
I know.
I thought it was an interesting thing to kind of share and kick off
Sure,
the
these are
news
always
week with.
ongoing problems. That's right. Like it's if it's not a date, it's another localization issue. It could
Exactly.
be also yeah, it could also be variances of languages, etc. So yeah,
Yeah, localization is hard, and when like laws in other countries change like this one, it makes it even harder.
sure. Oh yeah, time zones change. So
Hmm. All right, let's move on a little bit, John. You said
yeah.
you're pretty thrilled about this GitLab release.
I don't know if I would use. I don't know if I use the word thrilled. I've been
Really?
impressed by the amount of. Yeah, I know. I've been impressed for the amount of work that GitLab's been underdoing. So for those who don't know, GitLab is a service very much like GitHub. They tout more privacy and security than anything
Hmm.
else. So whereas GitLab is more for public repos and sharing, and it's a democratization of code, GitLab is similar in the sense that it provides similar capabilities, but is very much on the privacy side of things. So GitLab in their version 16 release touted forward a bunch of sweeping changes that they've made to their platform. A lot of it is surrounding around AI. So they're going after GitHub with their Copilot They've got an AI powered code suggestions capability that they've introduced. They also are introducing a feature that I almost missed when I read this press release. It got hidden somewhere in there, but is sort of like a
Somewhere in the
bellwether for
55 plus improvements.
well, yes, that's right. There's a lot of improvements, and it's kudos to them. But the thing that I don't think a lot of people notice is that one of the big items around GitHub is GitHub Actions, and these are GitHub Actions are basically like they're little components that you can not components, but you know what I mean. Like they're like little parts of thing, little
Functions
parts of code
almost.
that yeah you can run within the CI/CD pipeline. So if you're kicking off a workflow, you can have these things called steps, and steps are basically comprised of actions, and actions do the heavy lifting of your pipeline. So if you want to build something, then deploy it. Then you want to set up something else, like an account or something, or you want to set up a cloud environment. You'll trigger all this through a workflow, which is what they call GitHub Actions. GitLab introduced a new thing called CI/CD components, and it looks and sounds and feels and smells a lot like GitHub Actions. So further down in the document, they list a whole bunch of features, but this was the big like eye-opening, like wow, they're actually doing something that I feel is a bit of a strength on the GitHub side. So I think GitHub's one of the stronger suits is GitHub Actions, amongst other things. But GitLab is adding a capability for similar type of thing called CI/CD components, and this was something I missed in the 16 release. So that was something that I was like, oh, and I thought it would be interesting to mention here amongst the 55 other improvements that are there. And as Freestyle Coder, as rightly pointed out, yeah, they're about to have a dive into GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions is eating the world right now. I mean, like this is how most people do their workloads. So
Now, Freestyle Coder, both of us know David Pine, and I hear he is an expert in GitHub Actions. So if you,
it's not hard to be in a GitHub. I hate this. It's not hard to understand
poor
GitHub Actions. Like
David,
they
I
have an
just
event.
gave him a nice
No, I
shout
know.
out. John's got to just
I know, and I'm trashing him. I
rub it in the
apologize. I
mud.
apologize. Well, it's like it's hard to get your head around at first. You're like, what is this? And then after a while, but after a while, it's like, oh, these are simple. Actually, they're easy to understand. They have inputs, they have outputs. They have an event model. Most people use workflow dispatch, which is like creates a button to just say run the workflow. But there's a whole bunch of things you can do around it. And I think once you start to realize the power of GitHub Actions, because you can start manipulating they're basically automations for all kinds of things ready to get up. It's not just for code. You can automate things like, hey, a new issue is created, or hey, I want to update a project that is hosted by GitHub and other things like that. So similar in that vein, CI/CD components around GitLab is something that I think is going to be very interesting. And I think GitLab is slowly but surely catching up relative to GitHub's awesome feature set. And so it's really interesting to watch. I love when you have competition in the marketplace. I think it's awesome for that. So they push each other. And I think that they'll have benefits on both sides, meaning if you're more of a care about privacy, and you're not really caring about too much about code sharing, etc. GitLab touts that quite heavily. So they talk a lot about DevSecOps, DevOps with security throughout. And then if you're more on the other side, you can look at GitHub, obviously.
Yeah. So mutual friend of ours and several folks here in chat, David Pine, he writes fairly regularly about GitHub Actions. So if you want to check out his blog, davidpine.net, there's stuff there. He works at Microsoft now. He used to be a Microsoft MVP, and he's got a book on Blazor. Real great guy. Check out his blog as well. So that's pretty cool. I've never tried GitLab myself. I might have to check it out sometime.
But, it's a bit of a different flavor of GitHub, if you want to think of it that way. At the core, it looks roughly the same. You have repositories, you have issues, etc. It basically is like GitHub. But what isn't these days, right? You got the same thing with like Bitbucket, excuse me. Yep, and a few other solutions that are out there. So yeah.
Right, Sean. An inside look at how React powers Grafana's front end.
Yeah, so Grafana? Yep, Grafana. Grafana is a great visualization tool. It's actually one of my favorites. So Grafana's really, really good at displaying large amounts of data, and you'll see it typically paired with a wide variety of solutions out there. It's used for creating dashboards. It's basically used in a large number of problem sets where people need to do monitoring and analytics. And Grafana recently released, I think they held a developer conference. They recently released Grafana 10. I have not had a chance to poke it yet. But this was a story that I picked up that I thought was interesting. They share the inside story. I love these stories. I don't know why more developers don't talk about things like this. Like, what went into the decision-making process around your choice of technology X or Y? And so what the Grafana folks did was write up an article here about how they were evaluating Angular and then chose React, and why they chose React, and what they like and what they don't like. And they, of course,
I love the
mentioned hooks.
graphic.
And yeah, I know, right?
It's like their logo plus Angular. Lots of question marks around
Yep.
Angular. And then,
Well, yeah.
And then the React logo had like a bazillion hearts. So apparently they love it.
Sure.
But
We use
like
React
to
at
see
Octopus.
These, design decisions.
Yeah.
Actually blogged out, so you can learn from what they learned.
I don't know why. I have to take a moment. If you're watching this and you're a developer and you work for a company and you're making decisions around technology, blog about it. It's awesome to hear people's insider baseball type thinking that's going on relative to technology choice, because let's face it, there's tons of choice out there. So I would love to hear the things that you care about. I would love to hear about the thinking that I'm not going to trash you, obviously. Oh, you chose the wrong thing, but it's like, no, I want to hear what you want to say. Like, if you chose Angular, even if you chose like VB6, so maybe you shouldn't choose VB6, but you know what I mean? Like, even if you chose a technology that is kind of like, whoa, they took a bet on that, tell me why. And I would love to hear that story. Those are awesome stories.
Yeah. So it looks like they had Angular 1 already, and they're like, do we want to take on Angular 2? And then ended up at React. So it looks like
so they talk about hooks and
why.
Yep. They don't give a bullet list, but they do list a number of capabilities that they enjoy. And I think it speaks to the developer side of like, we want to utilize capability. We want to have a framework that is going to be useful. We want to be productive and efficient. These are things that always developers care about when picking a framework. And these sort of, I liken it to that sort of steel cage death match from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. That's typically what happens within most organizations when picking a technology. It's like Angular or React. All right, you two go in the cage and battle it out, and then we'll decide. We'll watch and cheer you on, and we'll decide which one we want to use.
For me, Angular versus React was more in line with the type of code that I write, and it was easier for me to read and understand.
Totally
Whereas,
fair.
Angular was more, it felt more old school coming from .NET. Because we've had things like MVVM for such a long time. And it reminded me a lot more of that world with like desktop and what's it called? Like Xamarin development and stuff like that. Where you got that MVVM approach, and to me that just felt a little bit more sluggish than what the web was capable of. And React would have been my choice. And then Blazor came along, and Blazor's just kind of React-like in its implementation as well.
Yeah, I liken them to different types of cars. I would say Angular is like a Honda. It's reliable. It just works. You can turn it on and away you go. React is more like a Mustang. Can go super fast, but you got to break out the engine parts from time to time. You got to change your own oil. And then something like Blazor is kind of like the Homer for me. It's like it's got everything, but it's going to be a large cost associated with it. And maybe those costs are coming down, but there you go. So,
speaking of Blazor and web frameworks and all that good stuff,
John and Burke, perfect duo.
Galloway, Burke Holland. This is actually probably, if you're not interested in Vue, Blazor, or React, then it's still going to be an interesting show just because of the personalities that are here, what they're doing.
Yep.
So the title of this is Burke Learns Blazor.
Learns Blazor, yep.
And they're porting a Vue.js app to Blazor, which is in itself interesting. And then you've got 2 great personalities working on the project, and they're live streaming on I think this is the On.net show.
Yep.
It's on the .net channel on YouTube. but they're going through this app called the URL list, which I'm not sure who owns that. I guess one of these, maybe, is it John Galloway's project? The
Who
URL
knows?
list, because they're porting code, so somebody
Okay.
must be an owner of it.
I
And
love shows like this where you're learning in the open. Fantastic. Well done to
mhm.
these guys.
Yeah, so it's 2 episodes in, I think, one or two.
Yeah.
Looks like one. One just started last week,
The
and
student and the master. I love it.
now Burke, he's working on the Visual Studio team, I believe,
Yeah, he's
and
part of the DevRel team for VS Code.
he was a big guy behind the scenes of Kendo UI for quite some time. And if you think Kendo UI, you think JavaScript, and you might think, well, why is Burke learning Blazor? But before the whole Kendo UI thing, Burke was actually a web forms developer. So he's got quite a bit of .NET experience as well. So looks like he's coming full circle and learning some more .NET again, brushing up on some of his .NET skills, checking out Blazor, learning it. So it should be really interesting to see what these two do. So
Yep.
make sure you check
Yep.
that out. Again, it's Burke Learns Blazor by porting Vue.js app to Blazor on the Microsoft.
It should be more of like, for me, it would be like John learns programming 101. No, I'm kidding. I have a computer science degree. Come on, man.
Does that help you with CSS?
No,
Exactly.
I don't think it helps anyone with anything. To as I like to say,
it's money well spent.
I know. To be successful with CSS, you have to kill that part of your soul that isn't dead yet. So
I love CSS. I think it's one of the most fun things.
Wonderful.
But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But
the memes, Ed. The memes. Come on.
So anyway, last shout out here. This is just too much fun. Again, two really great folks doing this, and I love Blazor, and I know some Vue.js, so it'd be really fun to watch that.
Perfect.
Hello, Genescu. Welcome, and Aztec Consulting as well. I saw you chime in here earlier. Oh, it looks like we're being rated, by the way.
Hooray.
I don't have my Twitch console up. I should actually get that going. Background here, see who's rating us.
Kind of show you running here, Ed. It's not like we're
Genescu,
two yahoos who don't know anything. So
who's giving us that raid? If anybody in chat wants to chime in, we can give a shout out to the channel that just joined us.
Oh, there you go. Fritzy. Jeff Fritz.
Good old Jeff Fritz. Gonna be seeing him soon.
It's the Fritz.
At, VS,
I'm like Newman when I hear Jeff's name. I'm like Fritz, sort of thing. Damn
if
him.
You're still with us. I think you're gonna be at VS Live over in Redmond. I know you're coming out to DevReach, so I will definitely be seeing you pretty soon, if not later this fall. So thanks for that. And Jeff and I think we're going to do a workshop here on Blazor eventually too.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm doing a web forms workshop next month. We're getting ready to start rolling out the landing page for that soon.
Nice.
Web forms to Blazor workshop.
Fun.
All right. Let's talk a little bit more about CI/CD pipelines, John. This is your territory.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't be
I
sorry.
just
I need to learn, and the more I hang out with you, the more I learn about CI/CD
That's right.
stuff.
Just by osmosis, you're gonna just learn it. That's right. That was all part of my plan.
You're like the Holiday Inn Express of CI/CD, like for me. Like I don't know CI/CD, but I palled around with John Bristowe yesterday. So
all right, fair enough. I am a fan of 1Password. Let's just put that on the table. So when it comes to password managers, you have your choice of options. We're glad you fly with us, etc. LastPass is another popular choice. 1Password has been killing it, in my view. They've been putting out a bunch of really interesting things. And so what this is they're basically providing a means by which you can actually get access to your credentials that are stored in LastPassword, which is something that a lot of companies have, and then making them available in sort of, CI/CD pipelines. So GitHub Actions, for example. So the reason why this is useful is because, well, there's a lot of, let's just back up for a second. How would you do this prior to this announcement? You might use a solution from HashiCorp like Vault. There are a bunch of key Vault solutions out there. This idea that I can store my credentials in a secure location, then access them from some remote pipeline. That's the same idea, basically. So GitHub Actions integration is what they show off here. Shout out to 1Password as well, because they're a Canadian company. So that's part of the reason why I like them. But yeah, so they're providing an example here of how they can actually access the credentials that you have persisted in 1Password via a URI scheme. So they have a custom URI scheme, which is like OP, whack, whack, and then you give the full address, qualified address to your credential. The idea here is that you can actually now expose this, because 1Password is a hosted solution, so it's a SaaS offering, and they basically provide an ability for you to get access to those tokens, or sorry, those credentials via a token, and then you integrate those into a GitHub secret, and then this is exactly what they're showing here, and then you use that in your workflow, and you access that via GitHub Actions. Very easy to understand here. So if you've never seen this before, don't worry. This is how GitHub Actions work. You persist secrets. You go to you have no workflows here. So there's a workflow as an example. You'll write that in YAML. Yes, I know. Sounds like fun. There's your YAML. And then you can see they're utilizing the load secrets action. And then there's your secrets credential. And then they have a username and password environment variables to access those creds. And then from there, you have secure access to your creds within GitHub Actions. Within GitHub Actions, which is nice, because the last thing you want to do is spread these credentials all over the place. You don't want to persist this directly into your secrets in GitHub. That's typically a bad practice, because if you update them, for example, how do you propagate those? So this is one way to do this securely. And so this is a nice feature. I think that this is a blog post that just came out, and I was like, yep, kudos to 1Password. A lot of people use it.
Nice. Yeah, this is very helpful stuff. And like you said, there's similar systems that...
Yes. Vault is the canonical one that people think of. So
see, this is the kind of broken people
That's
that
right.
we are, John. I'm like, CSS is so much fun, and you're like, YAML's fun, but I don't like CSS.
Everyone knows I trash everything. So CSS, when I say fun, that's in air quotes. Same thing with YAML. We use YAML because it's just by necessity. It's not because it's awesome. Break out your ruler. So we're going in.
YAML, JSON, whatever. All right. Let's see here. Let's get back over to this real quick before I go to the next story. Just trying to get these more in a better transition here. So speaking of CI/CD and build processes. And
I know, this is the last one. Sorry, guys.
DevOps and stuff.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Bad. This is what the show's about, my friend.
Well, I'm Canadian. Like I have to apologize. If I bump into you, I have to apologize.
That's yeah. Like if it wasn't for you, nobody'd hear the word CI/CD on the show ever, because I don't know this stuff.
Well, what do you guys do? How do you guys ship your code? You just chuck it over the wall and like, oh, we're done. Ship it. It compiles. Ship it.
You don't want to know what I did at my last job, because
nice.
I was a lone wolf developer, and there was no CI/CD process. It was literally like right-click publish type stuff.
Perfect. I love it. Yep. Friends don't let friends right-click publish. So
there we go.
Awesome. That's right. I love. Here we get the trolls coming through. It's like with all their perfect feedback. This is awesome.
When you're the only guy at the company writing code, building the server, like creating the database, all of it. I mean, you got to cut corners somewhere. So I never learned the stuff. But
okay. All right. So here's the cliff notes. John's notes on this article. Octopus is a deployment tool. That's the first thing. So that's all you need to know about Octopus if you don't know anything about Octopus. Kubernetes is a cluster hosting environment. Really difficult to get your hands around. And if you're just starting out, once you get the hang of it, it's fine. What we've added here is the capability. If you click on that image, you'll see it. We've added now, when we do a deployment, we show you a list of things that are happening. Obviously, you want to get a sense of like, okay, it's deploying, what's going on. So now what we've turned on is this ability to view what's happening within your Kubernetes cluster when we do a deployment. That's it. But we thought this was pretty awesome. So this is adding to our capabilities around Octopus itself. So if you're at all curious, check it out, octopus.com. That's all I wanted to say. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about like AI, GitHub Copilot, all that stuff.
Fun stuff, yeah.
This is on Paul Thurrott's website. This is a post about the Windows dev channel, the insider channel. So if you're not familiar, the Windows, it's kind of like you get the beta releases of the Windows operating system. That's their Insiders program. And it looks like they dropped a new Windows Copilot, which is an AI-powered assistant for Windows 11.
Yes.
Something they talked about at Build earlier this year. So it looks like that's out now if you're in the dev channel for the Insider program. So you can check
Yes.
that out. And I think this is similar to what lives inside of Bing these days, where you can type in a search in Bing and you get
Yep.
AI-powered search engine mashup stuff.
Yep.
So I guess this is
Fun
being
stuff.
baked into the Windows operating system in different places.
Yes. Yes. This will be interesting to see how this kind of pans out. I am skeptical, but we'll see. If this will help me find, if anything, if this helps fix search within tools like Explorer and Finder on Mac OS, and obviously Explorer on Windows, and I can actually find the file I'm looking for and not just a bunch of background noise, I'll be very thankful.
Got some good comments here in chat. It's like
Sure.
Cortana plus ChatGPT, and
Greater than, yep.
Aztec Consulting says it describes code really well. So you
Sure,
can tell
yep.
tell me what this code does and put it in. It'll actually like give you kind of a gist of what it actually is doing behind the scenes. That's really cool, by the way.
Yes.
We talked about that a couple months ago. I think that is an ability of ChatGPT to do that, which is something that's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, the thing that I've read about ChatGPT with developers, they did the Stack Overflow survey for 2023, and they had a section on AI, and it's the what do you think about AI? And it's all about trust but verify. That old sort of statement around not trusting inputs, etc. So trust but verify when it comes to AI.
GitHub, Copilot, ChatGPT, all these things are really good at getting past the writer's block. It doesn't matter if you're writing code, an article, a presentation, doesn't matter. It helps get you over that writer's block because you can always put in things like, I have a little bit of content, I need a title for it. It'll help you develop a title. Or you need to outline something, you're not quite sure how to get the beginning, middle, end just right. And you say, I need to outline an article for this technical subject, and it'll give you kind of like an outline for it. It's really neat. I think that's one of the best use cases for that type of thing right now.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways you can do it. I'm seeing integration with AI across products now. So I track a lot of ISVs, and I'm seeing a lot of ISVs ship AI capability in their products now, which is interesting to say the least. And as we mentioned, GitLab has it now built in. So does GitHub, etc. It's in VS Code. It's now in Windows, as we've just shown. So there's lots of things you can do with it. Midjourney is going crazy with its image generation. You can generate. Also, there's like a lot of people. I love the memes that are going around Photoshop, because Photoshop has it built in as well now. I don't know if you know this, but you can actually surround a part of an image and expand it and say, "Hey, fill this in." And people are taking
AI-powered content aware fill is very cool. So this is kind of on that level. So it's nice segue there, John. This is a tweet that I came across, and DragGAN, the word drag, and then the letters GAN.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're taking taking points on the image and saying, put this here, put this there. So you can see how you see how there's like a blue dot there. Yep.
So, you get these points, there's properties that you can adjust. And then as you move it,
oh my God,
it's changing
Sorry,
the outfits.
It looks weird to me, but yeah.
It does, especially as they move it. But what it's doing is it's here, there's better examples. So it helps you visualize things.
Yes.
And as you go through this, it starts to make more sense. It's like, okay, maybe I'm a fashion designer. And like, look at this. You can just drag pieces of the clothing, and it changes like the shoe type and some of the cuffs on the shirts. And it's just super cool that that's able to happen just off of dragging a point in an image.
Yep.
Pretty wild.
You'll see a lot of, oh God, don't do this, Ed. Sorry. Oh man. Okay, come on.
They're just making a completely different person out of a picture of the president.
Oh my God, scary.
These are kind of wild.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like riffing different design
Hey,
ideas for
I think
vehicles.
that turned into a Lada there. They turned a perfectly good Ford into a Russian car.
How many hectares does it get?
I know. A
This one's
single
neat.
tank of
Like,
kerosene. Yes.
check out that sunset transition. I mean, you could take a photo and drag elements in the panorama, and it's
Yeah.
changing mountainscapes, sunrise,
Sure.
sunset, just some really cool stuff. Like the position, you could reposition the animals in a photo. It's just too AI is too cool, man. This is just wild stuff here. Look at that. Anyway, I thought that was a cool
Yes.
thread.
Yes.
Touches on AI quite a bit, and like just another kind of point, pun intended, and all the AI tools that we keep seeing. Can AI handle fingers yet? There's some
I know.
really great AI memes out there, by the way, if you
Yes,
haven't
there are.
seen them, where
Fantastic.
it's like is designers are like somebody said AI is going to take my job, and like they're like this is AI accepting the contract, and there's like two hands that are all misshapen
I know.
created by
Yeah.
AI shaking on the
Yes.
contract.
Faces are hilarious. Hands are
Mhm.
funny. Definitely good things there.
So shifting gears a little bit, there was quite a bit of news in the
Yeah, around Figma.
Figma
Yeah.
space last week. So they're expanding their tool set. We integrate with Figma on our
So do we. We
products.
use Figma. Yeah.
Yeah. Not only do we use it, but we integrate with it. So um, our theme builder product actually integrates with Figma as well. So if you're doing Telerik based UIs, you can use Figma to help you build those. And then anyway, that just got sidebarred there, but Figma has been in the news because of this tool
Yes.
that they created that they plug into Visual Studio Code now, and this brings the Figma interface into the IDE, and then you can also get it to like generate some of the code out of the design into the IDE, like into a file for you. So there's some two-way flow between Figma itself and the code that it creates, like right in your IDE. So
Yeah.
this is new, very new.
Yes.
Just dropped earlier this month, and it just got an update a couple days ago. But I've seen people just tweeting crazily about this. So yeah.
This complements feature they have just turned on. They announced this at Config 2003, which is their conference. It's called Dev Mode. So Dev Mode has now been enabled inside of Figma, which gives you access to variables, advanced prototyping, and gives you a little bit of workflow now, and basically coding around some of your Figma designs, which is fantastic. So I'm a big fan of Figma. We use it a lot, and I find it really, really powerful. And so what Figma they're trying to do with Dev Mode is basically they come up with a very like flowery language to describe. It's like, we want a shared language. We want a design language around this. I'm like, whatever. Just tell me what it does. So basically, you can translate designs to code. You can connect your tools via the plugins like the one you just showed. They also integrate with Jira, GitHub, Storybook. You can track changes that get shipped ultimately, and basically it's there as a beta, and you can do some pretty powerful things with it. So
This is
definitely worth
pretty cool
checking out.
too. Real-time collaboration. So you think of like what's that tool called that's in Visual Studio? Live Share. It's kind of like a live share, but you can get right into the chat.
That's been in Figma for a while. Yeah, you can
but
discuss
you can do it
designs,
within
etc.
Visual Studio now.
I know.
So you don't even have to leave Visual Studio. You can talk to your developers right there within their IDE about the design on the design surface. That's really neat. So check that out.
The exhibit meme keeps coming back. Yo, we put Figma in your VS Code so you can discuss your designs as you code your designs as you discuss your designs. So
We've gone full meta here.
Yep,
Speaking of meta, no, I'm just kidding. Speaking of Figma, again, I'm not a great fan of this yet, but we'll see where this goes. Apple released a design kit for visionOS for Figma. So if you're interested in building 2D apps that will be projected in a 3D space that are not...
And we trashed this enough last week. Come on.
Still don't want to call AR, But yeah, there's a Figma kit for that if you want to check it out. Maybe just like the design,
Sure.
aesthetics of it, and just want to see what all this looks like. Figma's free. You can check that out, and it's
All I think of this when I think of this is like more transparency, more transparency. I ask for more transparency.
so you can check that out. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, I always promise to have at least one John Gaslit article type thing. I saw these shoes. I couldn't help but share them with
Oh my
each other.
God! Come on!
The world's
Why?
first fastest AI-powered shoes.
Oh no! Oh no! Why? Oh my! What? They're roller skates. What are we doing?
They're AI-powered roller skates, John.
Why? Okay? What? Okay. I'll ask. I'll play along. Why? Tell me why, Ed.
So you can walk at the speed of a brisk walk, slow run. I don't know, John. I just thought this would be something that would entertain you.
I hate to say it, but I'll say it anyways. This is I'll quote Bill Burr here. This is what happens when you get rid of bullying. I mean, like this, like why do we need this? Like, just ride a bike. We solved
John,
this problem. So
you talk all this game, but like in the real world, I could see you with these shoes on, and
no.
your Apple headset going down the street, chugging along, listening to.
I'll also have a wearable chair on my backside.
Listening to Silverchair, because that's the only Australian band I know.
All right, there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna get that wearable chair that you wear as a belt as well.
Sorry, I know two Australian bands. The Wiggles and Silverchair. That's my Australia knowledge.
I'm thinking now as I'm watching this more about the backstory around this, and I'm looking at the cut scenes here, and I'm thinking that looks like San Francisco. I'm trying to guess where those videos were taken, and only in the Valley would they think of ideas like this that are super impractical everywhere else on the planet. You have to assume perfect sidewalks, no snow, by the way. These are perfect summertime weather, nothing in the rain. They show a brief shot of gravel. Those wheels will last a month and then they'll deteriorate. I know this because I used to rollerblade. Yes, I rollerbladed. But rollerblades are just as fast. I'll go way faster on rollerblades. I play ice hockey. I know this for a fact. I will kick your butt going way faster with rollerblades than these stupid things. And I bet you these things are like $10,000 and they run out of charge. And I don't get where this is better. This is not an evolution. This is stupid. I'm sorry. This is stupid. $1,400. Okay, Ed, you've triggered me. $1,400 for this monstrosity. Why? Moonwalkers. Just get rollerblades. No one wears them anymore. You can get them for $50. Everyone's gotten rid of them. You
can get used ones. But I mean, like I said, these go perfect with your $3,500 Apple Vision glasses. So you can.
Do these go over the shoe? Do they at least go over the shoe? Okay, good. Okay, I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They're like the little trainer roller skates you used to get the kids like when they're small.
Yeah, well, when you're like
ones.
that, you said something really important there. When you were a kid, like you're an adult, like stop wearing things like this. Like why?
Can you wear them on a Segway?
Why do people? Yeah, I know. Sorry. Why do people do this? Why do people invent stuff like this? This is not solving a problem. This is just micro optimization. That's all this is. Life micro hacks, basically. This is dumb. I don't like this. Place deposit. Yeah, I'll place a deposit. No worry. $50. Is this a joke, Ed? You're trolling me, aren't you? This can't be real.
You could pre-order it, so it's as real as Apple Vision glasses anyway. Shots fired.
Oh my God. This is not. This is
all over the news last week for some reason.
Really? This was over the news? And people were talking about this?
Yeah, they have some good PR people. That's all I can say.
Why? How is this better? How
The
not like
future. I wanted a back, like a jetpack, John. I was promised a jetpack, not
we
this.
have jetpacks? They're stupid. They're not practical. You have to carry a huge battery and all this stuff. Like,
Oh man.
sorry, everyone's just commenting on how I'm losing it. It's just look. There's smart people out there working on hard problems. This is not a problem we need to fix right now. Like, you know, there's it's like it's I don't know. There's lots of problems to fix. This is not a problem to me. This is no, this is not a problem worth spending time on. Like, look how stupid this looks.
That comment is perfect, Robert Tables. I love it. It's absolutely perfect.
Okay, sorry. If you work at Shift and you've been working on this, I apologize. I don't mean to trash you this heavily, but this is all the problems that we're dealing with right now, this is like probably on the bottom of it's not even on the list, you know? And like you have to charge it. Look, they charge it through their Mac. Like, how more valley could you get with this solution, right? Like,
oh man.
That's all they were missing was the wearable chair. I'll just plug it out of my Mac and just USB power or lightning power and whatever. Here I go. 30 minutes later. Oh, I'm out of charge. Now I've got these things strapped to my feet. I got to carry them.
This is a close second to the bird simulation VR thing I showed you. Very close second. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
There's just some things I see and I'm just like, I can't wait to hear what John has to say.
Look at everything they're walking on. Everything's super buttery smooth. I've worn rollerblades. As soon as you go over gravel, it's like a nightmare.
Yeah.
And those are like ruggedized. I can't even say it. Look at all the smooth pavement. This is in San Fran. No pavement looks like that in San Fran. I'm sorry. I've been to San Fran. Tons. I don't know what streets on San Fran they're on. San Fran streets do not look like this. No American city has sidewalks looking this good in my view. I mean, they're all like cracked and like. And what happens when winter hits? You're gonna wear these things. They're gonna get mucked up with snow, big time.
Most U.S. places don't have sidewalks. Jeez, I don't think
filmed in Toronto. That's right.
We have sidewalks inside of our subdivision, but not outside. Like you cannot leave the subdivision.
Okay, so that's right. So we're gonna have these things on along with the wearable chair and the Google glasses or the Vision Pro, whatever you want to call them. Yep. Mm-hmm. What else can we put on ourselves? Like I don't. All right, whatever. I'm done.
I had like a Midjourney or something up right now, and I could prompt it with all these things.
Yeah, just create for me a fictitious person with all the wearables on them, like the watch, the eyeglasses, the headgear. And then have just to round it off, have that Matrix style needle that goes in the back of your head. Wait. That's all we're missing.
Wearing all of these while flying the bird simulator.
That's right. And then everything. And when people ask for my opinion, I just use ChatGPT and it answers for me. So there you go. I didn't invent these. Thanks, Maddie. You could have a whole show. You could have a whole show just focused on IoT / wearables / goofy inventions. When you saw that, when you saw this, did you think that's a really good idea?
Oh, that's a good one.
Be honest. Yeah.
That or the little box that little privacy box or VR. You know what I'm talking about? Do you remember that one? That belongs in this category too.
All right.
See if I could find that one again. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like this thing they invented for virtual reality so nobody in the room can hear you talking.
Oh, good. The cone of silence. Yes. I can't stop watching this video. I so many questions like who did they hire to walk? Like the models themselves, were they thinking this is awesome, I'm going to be part of this cool launch? And like they don't show their faces a lot. I think it's because out of embarrassment. Like I'm not gonna, oh my goodness. Like
I can't find it. There was like this box that like you have your VR glasses on and it's like a small version that just goes over your mouth. And it's got a microphone in it. It's supposed to be so people in the room can't hear you talking to whoever you're talking to on the VR headset.
$1,400. For what?
I gotta take
These things
this
will
off.
descend. These things, I know roads. I rollerblade a ton. These things will break in no time flat, guaranteed. I've had to replace wheels on rollerblades. If you use them
Okay.
enough, sorry.
Trying to on-trigger John now. The longer I leave that up, the more
I know. Oh man,
John's
just
ready to
stop.
set
All
the
right.
world on fire.
I know. We should
Oh.
just create a new show. John reacts. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? Sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's the Canadian ending for the show, folks. John saying I'm sorry. So yeah, that's all we've got for this week. I'll have to keep my eye out for other goodies though for next time, John.
That's right. I don't need to eat anything. There's comments in here from people saying about my show proposal here. I don't need anything. I just no external influence. Just show me websites of ideas, and I'll be like, okay, I'll react.
Actually, I just got an idea. Like, what if let's share this one more time. Oops. Present. Share screen.
Please show me the bird simulator again. How is the bird simulator doing, by the way? Has it launched? Have they gotten off the ground with their funding and all that?
So what if I showed you a hockey game where everybody was wearing these instead of skates?
I'm done. I'm done. Don't do this.
Your hope in humanity is lost.
Step into the world's fastest shoes. Why? This is exactly like Get Out. You're just here to abuse me, Ed, and I love it. All right.
So the chat room asked for it, so I found it. We've got the bird simulator queued up.
Oh, perfect. All right. We okay. So to give folks context, as Ed's loading this up, to give folks context, I think this was one of the first times that I actually snapped on the show. I was like, why is this? No, you and I were crying laughing because we were like, this is
hilarious.
Yeah, and so the bird simulation was something that we've discovered just by accident, and this is a thing. This is a thing that people invested time, energy, and resources into. This thing, Birdly, and this is a thing you can buy for whatever.
This is if you have friends and you don't want them anymore.
Sorry, I can't.
This is how you get rid of them. It's like, remember that movie, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Like, how to lose your friends in 10 seconds? Show them your bird simulator.
Why do we focus on the, like, why do, I want to have a serious conversation with us as like the developer industry. Why we have to say no to these ideas. Like this is, man. This guy's serious. Like he's seriously pitching this. Like he's like, no. Like the guy's asking him, like, what do you mean? Like, but this isn't a joke. Like this is, and like I understand, but like look at the aesthetic. Like look how much time, effort, and energy they put into this. Like it's a serious thing. So sorry.
Surly Dev says, I'd rather have a haptic cow simulator. See, now you're really milking it, chat room.
Yes. Oh, wow.
See what I did there?
Yes. But like, think about the programming that went into this. They had to create an interface. They had to create a background sort of system for taking input. Look at all the work. Look at the board that they put in. Look at the wires. Look at the manufacturing that went into this.
The hydraulic arms.
Yeah. And this rig probably cost $20,000.
At least, plus the engineering time.
Yes. 100%.
What is that?
Like, I don't know. I don't want to ask. This is the problem. This is the problem with being technical, because you focus on the specifics. You're like, no. We're not going to just skip over that. Stop. What is that? What is that?
And that's how we extract the person's dignity.
Yes.
Oh man. All right. We gotta stop. It's starting to hurt.
Okay. Sorry.
It's starting to hurt, John.
Yep.
I gotta catch my breath. It's been fun. It's been a fun show as usual. All right. Take it easy, everybody. I'll talk to you all next week.
See ya.